The Aliens franchise, alongside the Predator franchise, have both come a very long way since their adaptive introductions to the film industry. Xenomorphs are the cool-looking deadly aliens from the Ridley Scott original movie Alien. A crew of inexperienced space travelers encounter a deadly organism on the ship that is capable of murdering everyone it comes into contact with. That's the simplified explanation. The Predator, from Predator, a movie made in 1987 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger amongst a few other heroic names. He was a badass alien life form that took trophies from his victims and killed for sport. I'm referring to the Predator, not Arnold. It took a long time to get there, but what the fanbase of both of these properties really wanted when I was growing up was for these two to collide, clash, and meet to see what happens to both of their species. Who is the apex predator? Who could possibly win in a fight if it came down to it? A question that was bravely answered by Rebellion, a gaming company that, unfortunately, has gone kaput long since its departure from the game world. Although a movie exists of the same name, Aliens vs. Predator was designed as a first-person action horror game where you take on the role of not just an alien or a predator, but also a marine, each species complete with its own campaign and storyline. It's really hard for me to describe how I feel about this game. It's one of the greatest fucking things ever spawned onto our planet. The idea that a game company cared this much about their product back then really almost brings a tear to my eye. You look at more recent titles like Predator Hunting Grounds, and all you can think is that the genre was never done any justice from the get-go. But that's false, and this game proves it. I remember playing this at my cousin Cameron's house all the fucking time as a kid. Him and I would take turns completing missions in the game, and even diving into the online multiplayer a few times. From my nostalgic recollection, this game is a gem. End of story. Want me to prove my point? Okay, well, how about for starters, this game includes not one, not two, but 3 separate campaigns for you to try out on your own. You can take control of the menacing alien and regain control of the hive, or you can take pride in your hunt as the one and only fucking Predator, complete with all of his gadgets, gameplay mechanics, and more stealth-oriented gameplay. And finally, you could slide into the boots of a Marine, fighting against both threats in the ultimate clash for humanity's survival. Who would have thought that a game made in 2010 would catch my eye after all these years? Needless to say, I did enjoy the hell out of it, arguably more now than when I was a kid. One thing that's really cool and intuitive for the time is the fact that they actually animated legs for your characters. Yeah, whether you're playing as the Predator, Alien, or humans, you can look down and see a fully rendered body for your character. Not necessarily groundbreaking, but I'd like to think for the time it was pretty impressive that they did this. I mean, this is a movie licensed game. They went so fucking hard with it. Aliens vs. Predator is a gem of itself, and when's the last time we've heard of a crossover like this in gaming or movies? You don't see the formula repeated often, but I'm here to talk about why I love this game even today and how it stands out. Also, I picked it up on a Steam sale for $4, which is a fucking steal. Let me start off with the Alien campaign and give you a deep dive into all the aspects I can think of when it comes to the sheer effort displayed here. It's clear the developers wanted to make a brutal, satisfying game, and they nailed it. Playing as the alien starts you off within the testing facility that belongs to Weyland-Yutani from the film franchise. It's neat that this game ties into the canon that way. Obviously, you'll go through a whole training process, learning the ropes of how to play as each character. The tutorials are designed specifically for whoever you play as, and they all feature unique mechanics that the others can't utilize. For example, the alien can access vents, move extremely fast, and climb almost any surface. The Predator can't, but it can turn invisible, jump incredible heights, and lure enemies away from each other for stealthy takedowns. And the Marine can, well, he gets guns and grenades, which are pretty much your best bet against anything that bleeds, according to Dutch Schaffer. The aliens are a powerful species, and no other series within the games has made me feel that way until this one. You get the feeling that you are a xenomorph and that you're on this epic quest to cleanse humanity as you try and find your queen. You can use all sorts of shortcuts and different pathways to experiment with the fun, and not to mention how brutal it is with some of its executions. I'm not kidding, playing this game as a kid should have terrified me, but I was having way too much fun playing as an alien. Anyways, the alien's goal is simple. Escape the compound, destroy power, and find out where the queen is being held. You'll face a plethora of armed guards that can easily be taken out if you're careful, along with scientists that can be harvested using face huggers. This doesn't do much besides progress the story, though it would have been kinda cool to see the chest burst happen. During your ravenous adventure, you'll keep an eye out for these canisters containing alien jelly that are commended by the colony as sacred. Each campaign gives you a different item to collect, like the Predator, who, instead of receiving alien jelly canisters, has to pick up battle belts. Pretty creative idea to have each campaign feature collectibles that go along with their corresponding characters. Playing as the alien can be tricky at times. You're often not supposed to directly confront your enemies. Instead, utilizing every tactic you learned in the combat tutorial, you have to build your own playstyle and figure out the way forward. Sure, the game does give you an objective marker and feels pretty linear, but for the most part, it can be a bit challenging finding out your next move. Using the highlights of enemies through the walls, the alien has the advantage of seeing the humans at all times. Maneuvering the environment by sticking to shadows is the key to survival, as approaching your adversaries with brute force and reckless abandon will only get you killed. You can even destroy lights and sentry guns in this game. It's innovative to see such a forgotten mechanic in what you'd think would be commonplace by now in survival games of this type, but I haven't heard jack or shit about a new game like this that actually kicks ass. By the end of it all, the alien must face off against its worthy adversary, the one and only Predator. You fight two of these newbie Predators before you encounter the elite Predator. Oh fuck, and trust me, he's not that easy. If you get close enough, you can guarantee that you're gonna get turned into minced meat fast. After defeating him, the alien allows a facehugger to harvest the Predator and create the ultimate life form, the Predalien. The xenomorph you play as is recaptured when the queen dies, but once number 6, the name of your alien, emerges from his cocoon, he's restored and back to full working condition as the new species. To think that a game company gave this much of a shit about their game is ludicrous. It's a shame that this game is so old, because I feel like with some decent updates to the mechanics, maybe extra features, this game would knock every other multiplayer Slayer into the fucking ground. Even Dead by Daylight doesn't come anywhere near how much fun this game is. That's the alien storyline out of the way. Now let's move on to the apex legend of the game, the Predator. Much like the alien, Predators are capable of all sorts of cool mechanics and tactics when engaging with your enemies. First of all, it already feels better than the Alien campaign because there are two types of enemies you'll fight. When playing as a Xeno, you really only fight humans during the entire game, with the exception of the final boss. As a Predator, you fight both humans and other Xenos. The idea that I'm playing as an organism bigger than a man and I'm capable of demolishing them in this inhumane manner is kind of fucking awesome. Who wouldn't want to play as a Predator and stealth attack everyone in the game? The aliens have their own kill animations as well, and that's something I really have to respect. They took the time to animate different scenarios, each with unique interactions and facial gestures. I don't know, it looked pretty impressive to me as a kid. Not only are you given some special powerful arm blades, but you can also fire a plasma caster from your shoulder. Your movement speed is reduced, but the longer you hold it, the bigger the charge, hence better damage. The Predator also gets the ability to camouflage, just like the original movie. Predator is honestly one of my favorite movies of all time, and if I ever come around to reviewing it, it'll probably be the longest video on this channel to date. Maybe someday. They followed ideas from the films and nailed them in every aspect. Each and every character feels powerful in their own ways and offer multitudes of playstyles, paths, and collectibles. Fighting aliens head-to-head can be tricky. The little bastards have mastered Taekwondo, so timing is everything. Usually there's a visual hint that pops up on screen just before an alien takes a swing at you. Once you knock them down, you can spam E until you get to witness an epic close encounter with the damn things. Rip them into fucking pieces like Doom. You can also lure certain enemies, like humans, using a distraction, as I mentioned earlier. Just like the movie, the Predator will mimic the voice of another squad mate and tell them to go somewhere else, which is when you strike. What a clever mechanic for a game this old. One of my favorite scenes from the original Predator is the scene when it uses Mac's voice to intimidate Dylan, whispering things like, "over here," and "anytime." Man, I should really fucking talk about that movie. Speaking of the movies, this game does a fantastic job nailing just about every single aspect in a movie licensed game that feels organic, fresh, and introduces a whole new idea. Once you start playing it and get really good at the controls, you'll feel like you're playing as those iconic creatures from our childhood nightmares. Despite whatever character you play as, they all go through the same exact locations in the same order. Still, you can't deny that there was a lot of heart poured into the game from the beginning, and I'm sad I didn't get to enjoy it in its fullest more during my childhood. But hey, now that I'm an adult, I guess that's the good thing. I get to play it again, and it's fucking great. The Predator, sadly, is the most fun to play as so far. He gets 4 different gadgets to use throughout the course of the story, and they all do something different. You get the combi stick, the smart disc, the plasma caster, and landmines, allowing you to experiment with your approach. At the end of the Predator's campaign, you have to fight the Abomination, a hybrid alien species with superior strength and skill. It's just like fighting the Elite Predator during the Aliens campaign. He's one tough son of a bitch. You'll have to hop across different platforms in order to avoid slipping into the lava or getting fucked up by the Abomination. Almost got him. He's getting weaker. Come on, come on. Ah, fuck, I fell into the lava. Ah, shit. The checkpoint takes me all the way back to the beginning of the boss battle. That's not fucking fair, but sure, have it your way. Once you master the art of patience and timing, the Predator will kill the Abomination alien and become the new ultimate predator as your brothers bow in your honor. Now it's time to focus on the main aspect of the game, as the Marine campaign is the longest one of all. It is a bit disappointing that both the Alien and Predator campaigns go on for maybe 6 or 7 missions, but hey, they're designed so well that I don't mind going back and playing them multiple times. The Marines, as I stated earlier, have the advantage of wielding a variety of guns and gadgets to help you further defend against the xenomorphs. The options aren't vast or anything, but they are very creative. Wielding the official pulse rifle feels like you're straight out of the second movie. It sounds great and feels fluid. There's also a shotgun that can fire out... Okay, why did I type it like that? There's also a shotgun that can fire 1 or 2 barrels at the same time, a flamethrower that sprays flames everywhere, a pistol with infinite ammo, and at one point you're given the smart gun. I don't remember using that in this game long ago, so it was a welcome surprise. Like the other 2 campaigns, the Marines are forced to fight back against Weyland-Yutani's android soldiers. You can't execute them in really cool ways like a Predator or Alien could, so unfortunately you're stuck emptying a magazine into their fucking cyborg endoskeletons. It would have been cool to add execution animations for the humans. I don't know, it kind of feels weird without them. All 3 of the species share one thing in common. They can only sprint for 5 seconds before running out of oxygen. Come on, the most powerful being ever documented from outer space, a fucking Predator, and he can't take more than 3 large steps without needing a break? I know this game is pretty old, so I guess I shouldn't hold it against it, but it seems like a silly mechanic. There once existed an online multiplayer aspect of this game, but I haven't really played it in a long time. I won't be focusing on any of that stuff just because I don't feel as though I know enough about it to cover it further. If you guys saw my Dead Space 2 video, then it's kind of the same situation. Since the servers are shut down, there's really not a whole lot I can do, but what I can tell you from what I remember about the multiplayer is that it was okay. It was pretty fun. I'm not saying the servers for Alien vs. Predator are down or anything. I have no clue, I never checked. Just because I'm not really much of a multiplayer guy anymore. In my old age, I like to play more relaxed, single-player, laid-back games and, you know, not have to listen to a 9-year-old talk about how much he loves fucking my mother. But the campaigns, the creativity behind incorporating the canonical company from the films, the locations and iconic soundtracks and sound effects are all unique to this day with visuals that may be dated to the average person, but to me, just screams classic. I can gladly say this game deserves way more attention, way more updates, way more everything. You could say how you feel towards the movie franchise, but I remember a long time ago when 2 species clashed in a massive historical video game that I'm sure a lot of people probably passed up. If you were lucky enough to see it come to life like I did, you'd know that this game is truthfully an underrated gem. Yes, there are goofy moments and awful writing at times, but all in all, the game reminds you of the challenges you'll be facing, keeping you engaged and wanting more by the end. Aliens vs. Predator is such a fantastic time that I had to rewatch both the original Predator and Alien movies over the weekend. It doesn't get any better than a good old monster fight with some human ties caught in the middle. Yeah, it's not the most creatively groundbreaking stuff in terms of gaming, but I'd like to think it belongs in a museum to be gazed upon for the glory it has brought to millions of people, including myself. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and I will be discussing probably the darkest game I've ever played. And I'm not exaggerating, this game is dark as fuck. I'll see you next time. Anytime. God, I can't do that voice anymore.